So we're here to focus on gratitude. It's everywhere. I mean, it's been in news articles all month. The month of November hit, and it's really aligns with the season of abundance here. It aligns with the season of us harvesting, because gratitude is really, to me, closely aligned with abundance. It is really just acknowledging the abundance of life, the abundance of blessings and goodness. But I think that also gratitude gives us a wake-up call that the little things that we worry about aren't really that important, that the gripes we may have are often not worth griping about. And most of all, I think that gratitude is a way of awakening to the precious reality that is our life, awakening to the value that privilege of being alive has. So gratitude is everywhere, spiritual and non-spiritual audiences, because it's an effective tool. David Alt called it a spiritual technology. Why is that? Because it's proven scientifically that it makes you happier. It's been studied inside and out. There are whole classes at Harvard and Yale and many, many universities that talk about happiness, and they all have gratitude as one of the key practices. And there are also proven health benefits, and I'm not going to go into those today, but I will say gratitude in the brain, there's something called neuroplasticity, meaning that neurons that fire together wire together, meaning that habitual patterns of thinking can change our neurology in that way. And creating a habit of gratitude will stick, and it will naturally start to travel down those paths. It's just like, if there's a path out in a wooded area and more people walk it, that path is going to become easier to walk over time. And so it is with your brain. If you keep on walking these paths and forming these grooves, that habit will stick. That will cause neuroplasticity. Your brain is a learning thing. It's an adjusting dynamic thing. And so we're gonna approach gratitude from a number of ways today, because I think that gratitude can kind of just sit there. It can kind of just become like, yeah, gratitude, schmatitude, right? It can become one of those things that unless we re-energize that gratitude practice, we can start to adapt to it in a bad way. And I'll go into that a little bit more later. But since we haven't had music today, I wanted to talk about one of the practices that we can explore is a gratitude playlist. And one of the songs, the second song that came to mind, not the first song that came to mind from Karen Drucker. She has a gratitude song, but I wanted to play this song, and I hope you enjoy this song as an expression of gratitude.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
That was Karen Drucker. Thanks to technology. That was actually posted by Unity Worldwide Headquarters, which is pretty amazing. 600,000 views on that video. So the other song I was thinking of was Karen Drucker's Gratitude Song, which is a great one. And this idea came up. I was reading a website last night, which I'll share with you in a little bit, that was talking about creating a gratitude playlist and having that be a part of your gratitude practice. So why is gratitude so powerful, aside from the reasons we talked about? I've always heard that gratitude changes consciousness quicker than anything else can in terms of positivity. And we talked a lot about the pre-service chat. People were talking about vaccines of all kinds. And I just happened to, I've heard that gratitude inoculates us from victimhood and worry. It inoculates us from victimhood and worry. So if you're in the mood for a vaccination of gratitude, we're gonna have one today. And there's no side effects. And gratitude is always available to us. I've often said that the two things that are always available to us are gratitude and hope. And some people might be able to argue with me when the chips are down about hope, but I don't think anyone, regardless of their condition, regardless of the condition of the world, can say there's not something to be grateful for. Amy Boskamp said that no amount of gratitude, or excuse me, no amount of regret changes the past. No amount of anxiety changes the future, but any amount of gratitude can change the present. I'll repeat that again. No amount of regret changes the past. No amount of anxiety changes the future, but any amount of gratitude can change the present. And I believe that gratitude truly does wake us up out of this kind of a sleep that some of us can fall into, that in the past I've talked about it as being grumbletude versus gratitude. It's so easy to be in grumbletude as a natural state of being, as the status quo. And so gratitude is like this kind of a wake-up call. It's an alarm clock to get us out of the doldrums until we get grateful. And it's not random that gratitude is at the end of every unity prayer. I'm so grateful, and so it is. Because you're acknowledging the blessing, you're honoring the power of prayer, you're in gratitude that your prayer is already realized, knowing that it's already done. That's what you're grateful for. the power of affirmation, the power of prayer. And Meister Eckhart said, and this was also in Wayne Dyer's last film that he made, he said that he was quoting Meister Eckhart in saying that if the only prayer that you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. Thank you. So Thanksgiving is approaching. That's the if you say nothing more than just delving into thank you, thank you. Thank you, life. Thank you, God of my understanding. Thank you, world. Thank you, food. Thank you, me. Thank you. Just thank you. So I said I was going to explore some gratitude practices with you in this next one. When we talk about comparison, we usually talk about comparing ourselves against someone or something that's doing, that we perceive as doing better than us, and that we're not as good, and that we're having lack and limitation. But this one is called reverse comparison. It's reversing that idea, and it's comparing ourselves to people who don't have it as good as us, as a way to, once again, wake us up to the reality that we are privileged in this life. And so I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to continue this gratitude journey with Wayne Dyer, who we talked about just a moment ago.
When you consider our world from such a compressed perspective, the need for acceptance, understanding, and gratitude becomes glaringly apparent. So therefore, it concludes, if you have food in the refrigerator, clothes on your back, a roof overhead, and a place to sleep, you're richer than 75% of the world. Just that. Doesn't that call for some gratitude? If you woke up this morning with more health than illness, you are more blessed than the million who will not survive this week because of illness. If you have money in your bank, any money in the bank, or even in your wallet, and spare change in a dish someplace in your life, you are among the top 8% of the world's wealthy. 92% of the people don't have that. If you can attend a church meeting without fear, that is, fear of arrest or torture or death, you are more blessed than 3 billion people in the world. And if you've never experienced the danger of battle or the loneliness of imprisonment or the agony of torture or the pangs of starvation, you're ahead of 500 million people in the world today. If your parents are still alive or still married, you are very rare, even in the United States. So, if you have the opportunity to think as you choose to think, to worship as you choose to worship, and you have a little bit of change in your pocket, and you've got your health, and you've got someone that cares about you, then you have an awful lot to be grateful for. And treasuring our divinity means being in a constant state of appreciation, looking for occasions to be joyful, to be happy, to be in a state of gratitude. Every time I find a penny or a nickel or a dime on the street, anytime, I bend over, I pick it up, and I say, thank you, God, as a reminder of the abundance that flows into my life when I'm just walking and breathing. Treasuring your divinity doesn't mean not having respect for God. It means respecting the God that is always with you. This principle is called wisdom is avoiding all thoughts which weaken you.
And you may have caught that in the end. Wisdom is avoiding all thoughts which weaken you. Gosh, I'm going to write that one down. I didn't catch that because usually I end the video before I hit that mark, but that's pretty incredible. So one of the things that I was thinking about a few weeks ago, I knew I was going to talk about gratitude today, but I didn't know that this simple moment was going to be transformed by gratitude for me. And I'm going to share this. And so this is my car, and it's at the gas station right around the corner. And usually when I'm there, I'm in grumbletude. I'm thinking, oh gosh, this gas station, I don't like being here. There's just too many riffraff walking through here. You know, it's really right off of Almaden, right across from the car wash on Cherry. And I'm usually in a state of grumbletude. But when I was there, the sun hit me in this way that just warmed my body. And I looked back and I saw these people getting out of that truck, and they were so friendly. And I realized, oh my gosh, I'm getting gas. And people in Gaza, they don't have enough gas to operate the hospitals right now. They don't have any electricity for the ventilators right now. And here I am with my car. You know, you see these people in Gaza. I don't see any cars on the videos. I see these little, I mean, Gaza is mostly children and women, and if the older population is there, if they can barely walk, they're just barely making it, and they're not in a car, they're not in a bus, they're walking in the streets. And here I am in the gas station, all of a sudden so grateful for this gas station that I can buy two and save one, or whatever those things are that I don't want those today, but I have the option of doing that. And then I looked over and I realized, wow, there's a bunch of gas pumps and there's no lines. There's abundance of gas. And there's different kinds of gas. And not only that, I've got a card that I can put into this thing. And if that doesn't work, I've got another card I can use. And if that doesn't work, I've got another card I can use. And how abundant is that? It's something that is so easy to take for granted. And I can use the trash can that's out here. That's not all, you know, there's people empty that trash can every night. And I can use that to empty the trash out of my car. This is a first world thing. And then I looked over, oh, I could go in there. There's a parking spot over there. There's a bunch of parking spots, and I can get a lottery ticket. It's open in the AM and the PM. And it's huge. And I began to think about, I mean, honestly, the people in Sudan, in the Darfur region, I mean, I just thought about them today because of the millions who have been displaced. People aren't talking about the violence there because, you know, a lot of people know people in Israel. It's so much closer to our world. But in Africa, something like this would be like an attraction that people would come from miles around to come here to get clean water, right? And I noticed that there's a palm tree. Oh my gosh, it's a palm tree. How did that get there, right? And the nature and the sky. And then I looked down at this view, which is usually boring to me, and I realized, again, I have a car. And the sun just began warming my body, and I was just so grateful. There was no music going on. It was just, I was transported through this gratitude. And so this was a very, it was a way of just acknowledging how gratitude can work in a mundane situation, as mundane as a gas station, when we get into this exercise of reverse comparison. You know, I mean, it's comparison, but it's comparing our situations to those who are less fortunate, and thinking about first world problems, putting that into perspective for us. But I talked earlier about if we aren't careful to nurture our gratitude practice, that things can happen. And one of those things is called hedonic adaptation. And it basically comes from the word hedonism, hedonic adaptation, meaning that when you get a raise, all of us have probably gotten a raise of some sort in our lives. And what happens when we get used to that raise? We're wanting another raise, because when we get that higher level of job, we're hanging out with those people at that strata, and then we're like wanting the next best thing. They say that anything that you get, if people are expecting relationships to solve their problems, that's not going to happen. They say studies have shown that if we're expecting the relationship to solve our problems, that effect, that high is going to go away after 2 years. You bring yourself and your problems to the relationship, right? But you don't, there's this adaptation that happens. Our body is wanting to adapt to all things that are good, and this high that we get from things, including gratitude, can go away very quickly because our bodies are designed to adapt to both good and bad. So this is why I think we need to think of new ways to talk to our minds, new ways to talk to ourselves about gratitude. And I was thinking, what an illustration of this hedonic adaptation. I was at Starbucks the other day, and wide open, empty Starbucks, one person in line in front of me. And that person is asking questions about, well, if I get a liner in my cup, what flavor will that be? And what kind of soy milk do you guys have? And how much fat is in that? And then, if I get a ristretto pull, is that going to be stronger than a double shot of this? And I was getting very annoyed. I mean, very annoyed. And you've seen it where people they want to consult. They want to but the person at the cash register was very happy and actually into the conversation. I'm seeing BJ laugh because I'm seeing BJ, you know that experience, right? And the person behind the counter was actually really engaged in that conversation because they wanted to share their knowledge about the coffee. But I was just pissed off because I wanted to be served now. What the heck? There's one person in front of me. And then I said, David, talk yourself down here, because once again, I thought about, there are people in Darfur have never seen a Starbucks, and Gaza, there's probably no Starbucks there. And right now there are people lining up for dirty water. They're lining up for brackish water that's not completely clean. And sometimes they line up all day and they don't get it that day. What a wake-up call it is to compare and contrast and realize how quickly we can get used to this level, this strata that we are in. And we have to consciously be mindful and back away and say, gosh, what am I thinking here? So that was my Starbucks realization. So I wanted to share about gratitude. There's someone named David Steindl Rast. He calls gratitude gratefulness. He's of European descent. I forgot exactly where, but he has a website called gratefulness.org, and I think it's either that or grateful.org. Here it says gratefulness on my notes. And I want to play a video from him. This is going to be our exploration. This is a little bit more, this is our meditation for the day. And I hope you really enjoy this. If you've never heard David Steindl Rast, I think he's a Benedictine monk. I'm going to look this up while the video is playing, but enjoy it.
You think this is just another day in your life? It's not just another day. It's the one day that is given to you today. It's a gift. It's the only gift that you have right now. And the only appropriate response is gratefulness. If you learn to respond as if it were the first day in your life and the very last day, then you will have spent this day very well. Begin by opening your eyes and be surprised that you have eyes you can open. That incredible array of colors that is constantly offered to us for pure enjoyment. Look at the sky. We so rarely look at the sky. We so rarely note how different it is from moment to moment with clouds coming and going. Open your eyes, look at that. Look at the faces of people whom you meet. Each one has an incredible story behind their face. Not only their own story, but the story of their ancestors. All that life from generations and from so many places all over the world flows together and meets you here like a life-giving water if you only open your heart and drink. Open your heart to the incredible gifts that civilization gives to us. You flip a switch and there is electric light. Turn a faucet and there is warm water and cold water and drinkable water. A gift that millions and millions in the world will never experience. And so I wish you that you will open your heart to all these blessings and let them flow through you. That everyone whom you will meet on this day will be blessed by you, just by your presence. Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you. And then it will really be a good day.
So wasn't that cool? So I looked up, he's a Catholic Benedictine monk of American Austrian descent, and the website is grateful.org. But he always talks about gratefulness. But there's so many resources on grateful.org that you could spend a long time going through all these practices. There's one area I did last night where you can light a candle in the name of gratitude. And there's this little virtual candle that you can click on, and it lights, and you can put your name on it. And the moment you put your name on it, it puts you up on this list of candles, and it said, okay, Susie from Australia just lit a candle 3 minutes before you, and someone from Mogadishu just lit a candle right after you. And it's just amazing. And 20 million people have lit a virtual candle in this place. Grateful.org. So it's a really cool resource to check out. But I just kind of cherry picked some of the things from his site and from some of his videos, and what he says. His essential message is that we are all connected and in unity by, we all want to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy. And his theory is that gratitude is the path to that happiness, because we know people that have everything. They may be rich, but they aren't happy. They may have so many things. They may have 3 cars, 4 cars. They may have the perfect job. They may have it all, perfect health, and they aren't happy because they want something else that they don't have, or they want more of what they do have. And conversely, we know people who have had incredible misfortune, but maybe they only have a limited number of possessions, but they're truly happy. They're truly happy. So the difference between those people is gratitude or gratefulness, as David Steindl-Rast said. And he says it's not happiness that makes us grateful, it's gratefulness that makes us happy. And his definition of gratefulness is when something of high value is given to you when it's absolutely free, which is life itself, which is grace. And that there are several key points to everything on his site, and they're this: life is a gift, everything is a surprise, or if you treat everything as if it's a surprise, then everything looks like a gift. And that the ordinary is extraordinary. The ordinary is extraordinary. And that reminds me of when I first started here at Unity, we used to have a practice. Do you remember? We used to pass the microphone around and share moments of awe. And those moments of awe were us waking ourselves up to, oh yeah, that was, the ordinary is extraordinary. And even small moments and small examples can put us in this space of awe. And that's just more examples of gratitude. 2 other practices from his site. One is to wake up grateful before you get out of bed. Think of 3 things you're grateful for. And then to end your day with gratitude as well. Just 3 things that you're grateful for. And you can share those things with somebody. You can text those things to somebody. You can have a gratitude partner. There are a few of us here that are in a text group that text gratitudes occasionally. But you can try this with your partner, your friends, your family members, just one person or multiple people. Start a gratitude group. The other, the last one I'll share from grateful.org is this practice called Stop, Look, Go. And what that means is to put stop signs in your life and to pause. And even pausing in things that aren't totally obvious. Like, yeah, when you walk up to a beautiful garden, you're going to pause and you're going to appreciate that, right? But this one is to pause anywhere, anytime, take a breath, and look. Like, look at the things around you right now, and look with all of your senses. And observe what life is offering you in that moment. You know, I'm looking around right now thinking, oh my gosh, everything here is a gift. Everything here began with an idea in someone's mind. And the reason I have it is perhaps it was an idea that a friend gave it to me, or an idea that I wanted this. I began collecting these things. My desire became reality. And that's exemplified in the things around me. So I give great gratitude in pausing for that. Another pause-worthy thing is to think about this comment from Maya Angelou, this quote. She said, "This is a wonderful day. I've never seen one like this before." Or it's more accurately, this is a wonderful day. I have never seen this one before. You've never seen this one before. It's wonderful and unique. There will never be a day like this again. So these are these moments that kind of shake us up out of that sleep. Next in the journey of gratitude, I noticed that gratitude is it's a verb, it's a noun. Sorry, Don. It's a noun. And it kind of sits there. And, or I'm grateful is an adjective. I'm so grateful. That's describing my state of being. But appreciation is a verb. And so instead of, you could shift your thinking, and you can either use blessings, I am so blessed, or you can use appreciation, what do I appreciate? And it's a verb, it's much more active. And I was thinking of Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks. She said, let your dominant intent be to feel good. Look for reasons to appreciate and practice the art of appreciation. And as you practice those things, as you appreciate something, the universe is going to respond with unlimited resources, cooperative relationships. It will match your vibration as you appreciate. And I think that out of all the emotional levels and out of all the verbs and out of everything, if you could summarize, well, maybe some of you may argue with me, Esther Hicks' teachings in one word, it's to appreciate, or perhaps to ask. But appreciate is really the mantra that comes from her teachings. So I'm going to share 3 more windows into gratitude very briefly. One of those is grateful for small things. And I saw one of my friends posted on Facebook yesterday, glimmers. What's a glimmer? Glimmers are those moments in your day that make you feel joy, happiness, peace, or gratitude. And once you train your brain to be on the lookout for a glimmer, these tiny moments will appear more and more. So I looked up this morning, what does a glimmer mean? A glimmer is a faint sign of a feeling, especially a desirable one. Or a glimmer as a verb can be to shine faint, wavering light. To shine faint, wavering light. It's just so beautiful. A glimmer, right? It's like a star, right? So gratitude for the small. Then shifting to what David Alt was talking about 6 months ago, he was talking about grateful for it all. Grateful for it all. And I call that radical gratitude, because it may not sound like it makes sense, but to see everything as a gift and to be grateful for everything, even the tragedies, that's radical gratitude. Everything, being grateful. And I know it's hard to be grateful for the world condition that's going on. I don't know your personal story, or I may know some of yours, but I know that it's tough to feel grateful for it all. But I think that we're much more effective as human beings, as spiritual beings, when we're in a state of gratitude, instead of being in a state of distress, panic, or lack, that we just become this gratitude. And so that brings up this last concept of gratitude. So I talked about gratitude for the small, meaning glimmers, gratitude for it all, meaning radical gratitude. And then Michael Beckwith was talking last week about grateful for nothing. There's a concept, grateful for nothing. And I think what he meant by that was, when you exercise gratitude, you start to transcend it, and it just becomes your natural state of being. The chemicals in your body no longer are happy with staying at this homeostasis of blah, grumbletude. They are naturally upwiring to this state that's higher. That's a chemical, or as Charles Fillmore might say, that's an alchemical change. It's a spiritual change that's also affecting the body. So this is this concept of gratitude for nothing, because gratitude, and you could say the same with joy, it becomes who you are. You are grateful as you approach life. You're not skeptical as you approach life. You're grateful as you meet somebody new. You're grateful as you have any encounter. You're grateful as you wake up, and you're grateful as you go to sleep. that's the state of gratitude for nothing, gratitude just because. So I was going to do more, but I think I'm running out of time here. But I wanted you to maybe let's just briefly think about, and if you have a moment to write down some of the things that may have come to you in terms of, is there a thing? Is there a thing in the room right in front of you that you're grateful for? Is there a place or an event or a happening in your past, in your present, that you're grateful for? And is there something about yourself? Is there a quality about yourself that you're grateful for that is not, well, it can be anything. A quality about yourself, not your possessions, but the nature of who you are. So I stand in gratitude for that. So I close in prayer. I'm so grateful. I appreciate every one of you here. I appreciate this spiritual practice called Unity San Jose. I appreciate that it's helping my soul evolve. I'm committed to that soul evolution. I'm committed to this expansion of me as a spiritual being. I'm committed to my growth as a human being in all ways. And so I know that gratitude is such an essential part of becoming that which I already am. And so for this and so much more, I'm deeply grateful. And so it is.